Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, we're going to listen to some more people that have already been deported back to their home countries. And you're going to see how much they are now struggling. And, you know, it just goes to show you they can't improve financially unless they come to a country already established where they can get a leg up. But if they have to go back to their underdeveloped countries, they fall straight back to rock bottom. And it is the truth. So, America is good, when they're trying to pull themselves out of the squalor they come from. Oh, yeah, it's good because we know how they give all kinds of free goodies and money and everything to immigrants. Immigrants are catered to. The people that should be catered to, we get ignored. So, politicians, they go out of their way to make it very comfortable for a class of people that can't even vote for them. And, the whole concept of immigration is replacing us. That's really the whole concept. And that's the reason why it's not working out because the ulterior motive is evil. They want to wipe us out and make us completely irrelevant and just kind of prop up these immigrants and push them ahead of us. But the outcome is not working out the way the Democratic Party, the CBC, had anticipated. See, Donald Trump has come in and he has really messed up their game big time. And even if they can get back in office, it takes some time. And, with all of the scamming that the Somalians are doing, they may get a lot of pushback on giving free stuff and money to immigrants after billions have been stolen by these folks, these immigrants here in the country. See, it's never going to be the same from this point on. This scamming thing is huge. And like they said, it's the biggest in American history. So it just goes to show you immigrants need a place where they can get an easy leg up in order to do well. But back home, there are no goodies. There are no free money and Visa cards and debit cards for food and free housing and EBT and all that stuff, free medical. See, they don't get that at home. For everything, they must work, and the wages are ridiculously low in South America, in the Caribbean, in Africa. That's why they come over here because the wages are awful in those countries. So, now the way I see it, you've lived and experienced America. Now you could fix your country. But I notice all of you that got deported, none of you are talking about making changes in your country. You're just going to kind of fall in line and do whatever you need to do on a regular basis. You're really not going to fight your governments. Y'all sure don't have that fighting spirit. You can understand when you really look at these people, you can understand why each and every one of their countries are the big mess that it is. They don't have that same fighting spirit that we have. And you can see it. It's very obvious. The Latinos don't have it. They don't have it. They just want to be white and fall in line with white people. That's all the Latinos want in life. They just want to be white and that's it. And so they don't have no fight in them. They really don't. Not when it comes down to fighting their own governments. They don't have no fight in them. The Africans don't have no fight in them. None of these Caribbean islands do. Mm-mm. They have no fight in them. We're the only ones. That's why they want us out in these streets because we are the only ones that will stand bold up in these folks' faces. They won't do it. They won't do it. That's why I'm telling you their countries will never get out of the conditions it's in because they just don't have that spirit on them at all. They don't have it. All right, y'all. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Yeah, what they're scared of their governments. You can tell they're scared. I was watching after I had showed y'all, I think it was still summertime, the flood, this really bad flood hit Mexico. Oh, man. And their president came out and they were complaining to her, and you know all she had to do was do this. Shh, shush. She shushed them. And you know what they did? They shut right on up. She pretty much told them to shut up, and right there on the spot, they shut right up. And they were in a dire situation, and they let that woman come out there and pretty much shut them down. They couldn't complain to her, she wouldn't allow it, she was telling them to shut up, and they were shutting right up. And I was like, "See, that's why y'all are never gonna get out of the position that you are in these countries. Y'all are deathly afraid of your governments. You're scared. They're scared." All right, y'all. Let's get started.
How much money did I have when I got deported? I saw a comment in there that said something about, oh, that's why you have AC in a car when you just got deported. So before I tell you guys all that, a little bit of my background story is, as some of you guys may know, I worked as a medical assistant for ICE, making $10,000 a month. And as a 21-year-old with that much money, I just ended up spending it all. Never did I think about saving. Never did I thought that I was going to be deported to El Salvador. The previous jobs I had before working as a medical assistant was McDonald's and Walmart. So I was literally living paycheck to paycheck. I never could afford anything that I wanted. So when I actually started making money as a medical assistant, I just ended up spending all of it. Never really saved, never nothing. I would spend it on trips with my girl at that time. I would take her to wherever she wanted to go. I would give her money for the things she had to pay. Uh, I just never really saved. I would spend it on watches, shoes, chains, everything I couldn't afford before. So when I got caught by ICE and I ended up being deported to El Salvador, I realized that all the money that I ever made in the United States had gone. I had $98 when I got deported to El Salvador. Got to the point where I couldn't even afford a cell phone. And they have cheap cell phones over here, like $60 cell phones, and I couldn't even afford that. So my dad was actually the one that bought me one of those $60 cell phones, Android, and that was my way for me to be able to communicate with people and my family back in the States. And out of my whole family that actually wanted to come visit or stay here, I was the only one that did not want anything to do with El Salvador. and I ended up being the first one to come here. Uh, it's hard, but so the comment I saw that said I have an AC and a car when I just got deported. So no, I didn't just get deported. I got here 2020. I just had never actually been vocal about it. Never spoke about my experience until now. That I was like, I'm gonna tell people what it feels like to be deported, because I remember when I got caught, I didn't know what was going to happen to me. I was uncertain about my future. I knew I was going to get deported, but I didn't know what the process was like. So I just want to share my story just in case it does end up happening to somebody else and they don't want to go through pretty much that mental breakdown I had when I got locked up by ICE.
The worst job you're gonna get once you get deported is a call center job. I've worked at Walmart, painted houses, scrubbed toilets for a living, and nothing messed me up more than a fucking call center job in El Salvador. The first jobs I had when I got deported was actually a call center, and I said never again. And here I am on my first day back to a call center job after I swore to myself that I was never gonna do this shit again. I slept 3 hours the day before, and I left the house at 6 in the morning because it was supposed to be a 20-minute drive from my house to the site. Bro, I got there at 7:30 in the fucking morning and I was supposed to be there at 7. I almost said, fuck this, man. All for $700 a month.
So this Latina, who is a Trump supporter, got deported from Mexico back to the US, and I want to use this video to show y'all, no matter how hard you try, you will never be white.
Now, did you hear that last guy? Did you hear what he said? When he was living in the United States, he was making $10,000 a month as a medical assistant. When he went back to El Salvador and got a job, he's now making $700 a month. See, that's why when they get caught by ICE, they are crying and kicking and screaming, because the money they make here in the States, they will never, ever, and they know it, they will never, ever make that same kind of money back in their homeland. Okay? He ain't gonna come close to no 10,000 a month in El Salvador. He's not gonna come close to that. So he went from 10,000 a month to 700 a month in his home country. That now you know why they be crying and wailing when they get caught by ICE.
And I say that because she made videos going, oh, look, people are making too big of a deal about Trump and the deportations. He's only going after criminals. If you want to be here, you should do it the right way. Then she goes to Mexico, gets stopped by authorities while she's coming back from a concert. They check her papers and then they deport her. Now, they deported her because she overstayed her visa. I know some people are like, well, you should have done it the right way. Calm down. Let's just give her a little grace here. She's not a criminal. Sure, she has ideologies you don't agree with, but she wasn't committing any crimes. She was down in Mexico partying it up. Now, this is where the you'll never be white part comes in. There's over 1 million undocumented white people living in Mexico. They are taking advantage of the system. They're not paying taxes. They're down there just partying it up. And like advocates in Mexico have been saying, that authorities don't go after white people. They actually go after brown people. So you were racially profiled in a country that you were trying to get dual citizenship for. So if you were racially profiled in Mexico, what do you think is going to happen to you in the US when Trump comes into office? Because there are at least 500,000 white people undocumented in the US, and they're never bothered. Because I need you to remember that the immigration system was never set up to hurt white people. It was set up to hurt people of color globally. Our movements are constantly restricted, while white people are never bothered when they do the same thing we do. So as much as you say, oh, well, if you want to come to this country, you have to do it the right way. It is not about doing it the right way. It is always, the immigration system has always been about hurting black and brown people, no matter where we are in the world. So please keep thinking how you're safe now that you're in the US, back in your home country. They don't see you as a US citizen either. They want to take away your citizenship. They want to denaturalize people. So please, let's get rid of that colonized mind, because this immigration system was never made for us.
So I've gotten this stupid ass question so many times in my videos, I feel like I need to address it. And that question is something along the lines of, why did I not get any papers while I was in the States for 24 years? And I will never claim to be an expert on immigration or politics in the United States, but what I can speak on is my own experience and what I had to go through while being in immigration and how broken the system is. For example, I knew 3 guys while I was in immigration. One guy was charged with a DUI and owing child support. One guy was charged with stealing $1,200 from a place he worked at. And then the third guy was charged and convicted for SAing a underage girl who he was the parental guardian to at the time. And out of those 3 guys, which one do you think was allowed to stay in the United States with a green card? If you guess the guy who SA'd the little girl got to stay, you are correct. Other guys were ordered deported. Both had immigration lawyers and both were told that no matter what they do, they are probably going to get deported. Now, I had DACA from the ages of 18 to 26. I had DACA. There was no pathway for us to get citizenship or residency unless you married an American citizen. That was the only way. So for all the people judging in the comments, you guys might want to read up on your own immigration laws and how your system works before you go around judging people who try to make a better life for themselves and risk everything by going into the United States illegally.
So I live in Chicago, right? And shit's all sweet, right? I'm trading, I'm boxing, I'm golfing, right? Life's sweet. Come January, I am getting deported. My visa ends because I'm from Finland. I'm not a citizen, right? And not only am I getting deported, I'm getting deported and going straight to the Finnish army because every man has to go to the army. That's some like fucking bullshit, dude. How am I supposed to fucking trade in the army, dude? And I have to go there for a year or 6 months. It's fucking stupid, bro. Fucking. Yeah, she knows what's up, bro. It's fucked up, bro. Come on.
My person will see it, and if you go in the system and call them, you will see they give you ID. Call who? Who's them? It's called a tag agency place, but they give you ID.
Where?
They give you an international ID. All you need to do is transfer your passport over. That's me.
Yeah, I have my social. What's your real license? Where's your real license out of?
My real license is in my purse, but that's the same.
Okay,
it's
is
the
it
same
from
name.
Florida?
No, it's from here.
This is Florida.
Well, I don't know. It's from here.
Okay, because we ran your name too, and your name doesn't exist either. It is not real. You did not get it from the state of Florida. Thus, you can't possess it. It is illegal to possess a license.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Did you get it from the state of Florida?
I get it from somebody who said.
I said I do not know that. Is it Florida ID? It's a Florida ID. Obviously fake. I mean, does it look fake? Does it look fake?
All that tether babbling is not going to get her out of this one. What do you mean you got your ID from a Thai place? Red flags instantaneously. And did y'all pay attention to the police officer? He kind of had like a Caribbean accent. And when they hand him the ID, he was kind of hesitant to say that it was fake. I feel like if it was just him by himself, he would have let her go. Florida Police Department need to be investigated. But obviously, this was a fake ID, and this was a Jet2 holiday because she called her husband to pull up to try to get her out this one, and both of them got deported because their visas been expired 10 years. 10 years, they've been expired for 10 years. So you telling me within that 10-year period, you didn't do anything to change your immigration status? You just sat here and chilled? But yeah, Jet2 holiday, they both gone, and Florida Police Department need to be investigated because I'm pretty sure that dude with the Caribbean accent would have let her go if it was just him by himself.
It's already been 6 months since I was deported from the United States. deported, sent back to a country I never lived in. Left my entire family, my mom, my brothers, my friends, my family, everybody I ever knew. Just thankful to be alive. Thank God they got me through this. You know, could be worse. I could be, sitting in a prison cell or something. I'm just grateful to be able to actually make this video. Yeah, 6 months trying to readjust my life. Never lived here. Don't know anybody. Don't have a job. Don't even know what to do, where to even start. But people say it's paradise. It's beautiful out here. And it is beautiful. It is. Mountains, trees. It's 83 degrees right now. Mountains everywhere. Nature.
So this is what happens when you get caught in Mexico. How did they even find me in the first place? I was coming back from a concert in a bus stop at a toll booth. Some guy came in asking for ID. I showed him my California ID, but I didn't have my passport. Next thing I knew, I was in a van. I got to the immigration office. They patted me down, took away all my belongings. They looked me up and they saw that I overstayed my 180-day tourist visa. Long story short, they didn't let me leave the immigration office until I bought my ticket to go back to the USA, which is crazy because I already have my dual citizenship in process, but it's not complete yet. That could be why it didn't show up in the system. The closest flight I could get had multiple stops. Before I went to LA, I stopped at Monterrey. I thought it was going to be a smooth process going back to the United States, but then this happened. I didn't get my little paper stamp that they give you when you enter the country, so I ended up missing my flight. And anyone that overstays their 180 days, you have to pay a fee of 717 pesos, which is $35. But since I'm being kicked out of the country, I didn't have to pay that. Anyways, they got me another multiple stop flight, so it took me 2 more flights before I got back to the United States. Yes, and once I saw the Edgar cuts and the LA outfit, I landed back to the motherland.
What is this? Trump 2020.
Yeah.
You're a Trump supporter.
No.
They gave us these wristbands right before we entered Mexico. We had to wear them to get food. If you didn't wear it, you got nothing. Everyone had to put it on, even if you didn't want to.
Do you hope to go back into the US in the future and start your life again?
I wouldn't think twice. Life was safer over there, but I don't know how to get out of this. The truth is that living like this is extremely difficult. That's the truth. It's very difficult. Sometimes I sit and wonder what I'll do next, but there's no answer. That's the reality here in Mexico.
Just wanted to help you out a little bit. There's $200 for you. God bless.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, sir.
All right, man.
God bless.
Don't answer the door. Do not answer the door. Your family has rights. Can you imagine Gestapo just banging on the fucking door? I can imagine how scared. But I still feel that way. I still feel like I'm the exact same person, but I'm stronger, and I'm here to speak up, and I'm here to tell the stories of those that cannot tell their own story, because if they do, they're gonna get picked up. But you know what? Fucking ICE. And I wasn't there when they came knocking on his door, but somehow I can see every single moment. It's
the life of a lash artist from Dallas, Texas, who got deported after being in the U.S. for 28 years. When I was a little girl, I was 2 years old, and my parents took me illegally to the United States, which my parents were illegal too, and all of my siblings were U.S. citizens, but they were not the age of 21 and older. I was processed by ICE because I did not have a license and I did not have a social, so they allowed me to continue to fight my case in the US. So I fought my case. But in 2019, they decided, from 2013 to 2019, they decided, and the court decided, that I needed a voluntary departure because I did not hold any of these things, right? So when I went to court, my case was closed, and when I went to go report, because I was out on recognition since 2013, they basically told me that I would be eligible of a petition since I was married to a U.S. citizen. I had already gotten married, but the lawyer that I had at the time gave me bad legal advice and told me to just return to my country and find a job and make a living here. After I left court, I went to go report, which is something that you have to do when you are trying to apply for your residency or just trying to stay in the States, period. So I showed up, and the judge who had been before me my entire time going to court told me that that lawyer had given me bad legal advice and for me to get a new lawyer. So I ended up finding a new lawyer, and he petitioned for me. My husband is the one that is a US citizen. So I filed a petition and I filed a cancellation of deportation, which was supposed to cancel the deportation. But with everything happening with Trump right now, there's no way for them to cancel the deportation because it was already there. That is the reason why I'm in this position in the first place. My parents never had the money to fix papers for me. So this is why I'm in this position. I also never applied for DACA because my parents didn't have the money and they didn't have the money to even fix papers for themselves. We always had really poor jobs and really sucky jobs just to make a living. It just wasn't possible. And I hope people could just understand that. If you have nothing nice to say, please do not comment on my videos. Do not send hate. The last thing that I need right now is a couple people saying a bunch of ugly stuff. There's such many beautiful messages that I have received, and it definitely outweighs the bad. So you're basically wasting your time commenting ugly things because I am not reading them. I hope this video helps you understand my immigration process clearly.
Yes, I got deported.
Oh, here we go.
After 20 plus years and 97+% of my life in the United States.
Oh, this is about to be some shit.
ICE agents picked me up in Chicago and threw me in jail for 3 weeks because my parents did not file my paperwork correctly.
Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no.
They brought me to the United States on a visa, overstayed that visa, had opportunities to appeal it in court, and my father did not show up to court.
Oh, daddy.
Now I'm in the United Kingdom, and this country sucks. And it has made me more America first.
Oh, you didn't think he was going to say that shit, did you?
Because you see that outside of London, all of England is a third world country, a dump. I hate it here.
But yet folks out here hating on America.
And I am excited and ready to go back to the United States, but I have a 10-year ban to wait out.
This man said he has to wait 10 years.
And I'm waiting to bring my fiance over because I had a wedding scheduled that I had to cancel.
Oh, no, man. Oh, no, man.
And it's taken everything in me to forgive my parents for what they've done to me and what they've caused. But I'll keep going on.
Notice how he blamed his parents and not Trump. The guy who's in it. But there's plenty of folks out here that would go, oh, Trump, you voted for that. That's what you voted for. No. His parents did not do the responsible thing and the stuff that they were supposed to do to make sure that their family became citizens in the country in which they wanted to reside. Period. Trump, go get this dude, man. Do whatever you need to do to magically wand go get this guy. That is probably the most mature response in that situation that I don't think I could even do. Because I'm blaming everybody.
It's fucked up, man. Ice got my boy, man. He left everything behind. And they just left the door wide open, man. They just deported the man. Money. He left behind everything. Jewelry. Clothes. It's crazy. But this is wild. This is some crazy stuff, man. Man, this shit crazy. Man, fuck ICE, man. This shit is wild. This shit is wild. Damn. Man, this shit fucked up, man. God damn. All the kids shit. Man, they just left the place wide open like this here. They just took them and left the place wide open. They ramshacked the place, man.
Yeah. Last week I was watching a video of this woman that lived next to immigrants that got deported. And she said she saw their dog running around in the neighborhood because she didn't know they were deported. That's how she found out. She was like, why is the dog running around all over the neighborhood? And one of the neighbors saw it, saw ICE come and drag the family out of the house and deported them. So she caught the dog and took the dog in. And the only thing this dog would respond to was Spanish. So as long as she spoke to him in English, he just kind of just sat there and just looked at her. But as soon as she spoke some words in Spanish, you could clearly see he would perk right up because that's probably what he heard all day long was Spanish. So she was like, well, I guess I'm keeping him. Yeah, because those people, chances are they may not be coming back at all. They may not be coming back at all. And y'all, a lot of their homes are empty. Do you know, in many cases, let's say our people needed a home, you could technically walk in that home, take it over. If they got a mortgage on it and you just picked up the mortgage and paid it, the mortgage company won't even say nothing or put you out. As long as the mortgage is getting paid, it don't matter who it's getting paid by, just as long as it's getting paid. They won't even say nothing. They wouldn't even say nothing if you occupied the home and just paid the bills. The mortgage company, the gas, and none of them will say anything. They're only concerned about the money. They are not concerned about who's physically in the house. So technically, if our people need somewhere to go and these immigrants got snatched out of their home and their home is just sitting there, you literally could technically take it over. I'm just saying. So anyway, y'all, you see how deep it is. You see how each and every one of them went back to their countries and they weren't making nowhere near the money they were making here in America. I said, see, that's why you can't run these people out with a rifle. You couldn't run them out of here with a rifle because they know they got it good here. Definitely. Hmm. Believe it or not, they don't care. I had, when I was growing up, I had well, I was an adult. I was a young adult, but I had a few friends that worked for a mortgage company. And they will tell you they don't care who's in that house. As long as you are paying the bill, they won't even say nothing. Even if you went in there and said, well, they got deported, so I'm just going to take over the house. I'll just pick up the mortgage and stuff. Do you know they ain't going to say nothing to you? They're not going to tell you you should leave. All they want, it's all about the money. If you got the money, they ain't going to say a word to you. Not one word. Not one word. The police wouldn't even come and arrest you. I mean, that's how deep it is. They just want the money. As long as you can show you can pay the money, they don't care who's up in there. They don't care. Hmm. And that's happening a lot, a lot of abandoned pets, a lot of abandoned homes, um, and all kinds of, and that's not unusual. When he walked in that house and the door was open, ICE don't care. They'll leave your door wide open. They'll just grab you and your family out of the house. They don't care if they leave the front and back door open, and they'll just leave it like that and just go. That's more common than uncommon. Definitely. Hmm. Yeah. I mean, you'd be surprised because that's happened around here. I found out not long ago. There are quite a few houses that are empty that Latinos were in. And them houses are empty because of ICE raids. And the houses are just sitting there, fully furnished, because they got deported. So they couldn't take all the stuff in their house. So you take the house, it's fully furnished. Hmm. Yeah, because they're given a lot of help. You know, no matter how much these immigrants talk about, oh, they came over here with $1 and got that, they get a lot of help. They get a lot of government help that we never get. That's how they can get a Mercedes and all kinds of cars for everybody in the family, plus their house, because they get a lot of government opportunity and loans and stuff that's not offered to us. That's why. They can get bank accounts with no social. Yeah, the banks will let them open accounts with no social. Mhm. Yeah. So, y'all, yeah, you can see when they get back to their home country, they go right back to rock bottom. They go right back to rock bottom, having absolutely nothing. And that is happening to a lot of them. So if they're not wise with their money, they're going to be going back to their home country broke. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you once again for being here. Now, I do have another live coming up at 3:45, and that is a Jamaican woman, again, doing an interview. She was doing an interview and said that we're always, Black Americans are always playing the victim. And I was like, where do these people get off talking like this? Okay, obviously, you must have been playing a victim. You came over here and left your homeland. Why didn't you just stay in your homeland? If you don't believe in being a victim, you got out of there because you knew there was no opportunity. And you came over here. And then when you get here, you're complaining about the very population that made it possible for you to be over here. Man, I don't care if ICE run all of them out. I really don't care. I really, truly do not care. Y'all, I will see you later at 3:45. And my final live will be on the Congressional Black Caucus or Congressional Immigrant Caucus. So have a wonderful afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, shalom.